And I think as we sit now, you guys can see the screen. Yes, you can. Perfect. Good deal. All right. Anyways, guys, good morning. Thank you again. Well, good afternoon for the East Coast people that are attending. Thank you for taking some time out of the day as well to spend some time looking at Rebo Gateway and getting updates on it. So, again, thank you for that. And, for everything you guys have done for us in the past, everybody that's on this phone call has been some sort of title partner for us in the past, recently or long term. And so we want to thank you for taking the time to, talk to people about our product, introduce people to our product, and if there's anything we can do for you guys, going forward, we obviously want to do that for you guys as well. The purpose of this webinar today was really to bring you guys up to speed with what we're doing with the product. For some people, it's a little bit newer, so we'll do like a brief overview in the beginning of it. But it really kind of stemmed from a meeting that I had earlier this week, and it was having a conversation with a manager for a title brand here in Southern California. And as part of that conversation, we were, he's like, I don't want to sell your product for you, and I've never wanted title to sell our product. I simply wanted you guys to be able to use it as a tool to be able to open up new doors, meet new people. What we've developed within Rebo Gateway is a very unique tool. It was unique 4 years ago when we designed it. It's still unique today. We're doing things with Rebo Gateway that there's no other business out there that's currently doing this in the real estate space. And so because of it, it's unique, it's new, it's fresh. Even 4 years later, it's fresh. It's something that really could help you guys, I think, acquire some more title orders for yourselves. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about today. But it kind of stems with the product itself. I know most of you guys, or all of you guys, are familiar with the product of Rebo Gateway. So you can see that up on the screen now, and you know that Benitex, the company that created the product. It's important. It's an important and relevant tool, especially today. Even when we created it 4 years ago, it wasn't as important as relevant because there were back then still a lot of REO accounts. And there was a lot of realtors that were getting a lot of their business from REOs. And then there was a ton of short sales. And, that they didn't need to go out and farm necessarily. It's more difficult to farm, right? They didn't need to do that. And our tool really it monitors properties. It tells them where the hotspots are within communities. And so because of that, it's more of a farming tool. It's more of because it's cross-talk. It's predictive analytics, right? And so why it's important is for those reasons. Farming is coming back now. Realtors are doing it all over the place, as you guys know, right? If they don't farm today, then they do the family and friends approach, right? And that's where they get all their business from. And I know there's a lot of agents, I meet them just like you do out in offices. That's where they say they get their business from. But if you really think about it, businesses cannot grow or sustain or really be profitable if they're only selling to family and friends, right? It's just not possible. I mean, think about it like Coke and Nabisco as an example, only sold to family and friends. How big could they grow, right? Think if you only sold title insurance to family and friends, how big could you grow, right? The same for real estate agents. So they say that that's where they're getting their business from, and that may give them a deal or two a year, but it's not really going to be a sustainable business. And what Rebo Gateway is about acquiring listings for them, right? At the bottom of the screen, you can see 2 to 4% of homeowners, that's what sell, right? Any geographical area, that's 2 to 4% of their friends. It's 2 to 4% of the geographical areas that they're marketing themselves into. That's all that's selling in those areas, right? So what we want to do, okay, well, let's get into Rebo Gateway first of all. So what are we doing, right? What we're doing is we're grabbing any reliable data, public events, whether it's coming from a courthouse or it's coming from a newspaper website or some public-facing website. If we can determine something that's going to cause the sale of a property potentially, we're going to take that, we're going to match it to property. And what's really unique about what we do, we're the only ones that take those events and then match them to property is what we do, right? So based upon that, matching that stuff to property, it becomes something that's really unique. And because of that, again, it's something for you guys to be able to go out and when you're looking to open up doors or talk with new agents you've never spoken with or offices you've never been in before, it gives you something unique to talk to them about. Because as you guys know, I'm sure in every business I've been in the past, aside from this one that I'm currently in today, yeah, we had the best service, but so did my competitors. Our pricing was the best, but so did my competitors have the same thing, right? This is something that nobody else is doing. We don't have any competitors yet, right, doing some of the different tools that we're doing. So as you can see on there, we're still the only one 4 years ago and today doing divorces, evictions, probate filing matched to property, which is unique, right? So that they don't have to market to every property in an area. They can market to specific properties in an area, right? So that makes their marketing dollars and it makes their efforts at those doors, whether it's door knocking, mailing, or whatever they're doing, go a lot further, right? So still unique today. Stats, I know a lot of you guys have seen these statistics. You guys have used these in the past, but for those that haven't, they are super relevant. Farming, 2%, 3% of homes sell. Math, 10 out of 500 homes are going to sell. So if I have a geographical farm of 500, if I happen to be really popular and I had 500 friends and family that I talk to on a regular basis, right, if that was my sphere, 2 to 3% of them are going to sell. So we're talking about 10 out of 500 selling, 490 or not. Of those 10 that are going to sell, will I get listings at every single door? No. I'm going to get listings at some of them. So it becomes, you could see the problem that real estate agents have, right? And so you're going into offices and you're going in and having conversations with them, and you know, the best service and the best pricing, that's obviously important. What's also important is, you know, how could they grow their business? Is there something they haven't heard of yet? Maybe they've heard of Rebo Gateway, but they don't really understand what happens, and that happens to us all the time. I've heard of Rebo Gateway. Oh, really? You know, what does it do for you? I don't really know. Okay, let me tell you about it, and then I can tell them about it, right? So it's something like these statistics you're seeing on the screen are really, it takes the opinion out of everything. It's not my opinion if Rebo Gateway is any good. It's not your opinion if Rebo Gateway is any good. It really comes down to, statistically, there are homes that sell at more frequent rates than the others. There's not flags in the front of the houses that says, I have this going, so I may need to sell my property, or I have that going, and I may need to sell my property. Yet, these are the things that do cause the sale, okay? So from there, right, we have different things. You can see divorces, and just so you understand the tracking what we're doing here. From the moment of the filing, divorce, probate, mortgage default, whatever, over the next 12 months, how many sold, those are the percentages that are selling. So statistically, right, they have realtors will have a much better chance marketing, doing the same things, whether it's door knocking, mailing, whatever their message is, it doesn't matter. Whatever their message is to the neighbors, if they did it at these doors, they're going to do it at doors that have a higher probability of selling, okay? The different things that we do today in Rebo Gateway, and the lead types vary area by area. We get people tuning in from all over the states today. So, you know, again, what we're doing here with data, all of the records. So you got court records that we're going to mine for. Now, not all courts make these same things publicly available. So some areas do, some areas don't. Most of the major metros do have these available. Some of the smaller counties don't. We make every effort possible to be able to gather them. And it's interesting, too, because we're in the process of redoing our data file, and from one of the largest data companies in the world, right, wanted to provide us one of these lead types that are on the screen, and we had double the records that they had. So we're doing a really good job mining for these records. For our little company over some of these monstrous companies, we're doing a really good job gathering these records and then matching them to property, again, is a whole new unique thing. So you can see the things that we're doing. They all have value, every single one of them. Agents might not use all of them. They may use a couple of them. It doesn't matter. They all lead to the sale of property, and that's why we have them in there. And we have a lot of things coming, which we'll talk about as well, right? So those that are for life events, it is a simple process to use, and I'm going to try to get through this as fast as we can, again, so we can get to some other stuff. But, you know, again, simple system to use. You're looking at Collin County in Texas. You can see the different lead types that are available to agents out there. You can see the search. I did a county-wide search for divorces past 5 months. 255 of them popped up. I can easily search by city or zip code. I could search by a smaller date time or a date range from 1.5 years ago, right? There's all choices that agents can make. But the thing that I really wanted to make sure that you guys understood, because for those that have referred us customers, and you'll hear from customers time to time, oh, it's too hard, it's too difficult. And it is too hard and too difficult if they never log in, okay? We'll go through like old data and use of data and everything else, but the search is really, really simple. Tell us the territory, tell us the lead type, tell us the date range, and boom, there are the stats. Hit the search button and you got stats. Territory, lead type, date range, search. Anything else we search on the web, whether it's our bank accounts or anything else, eBay, I mean, it's all the same thing, right? It's what are you looking for, right? good. What date range do you want it for? Good. Hit the search button and you're going to get your results, right? So it's a very simple process. There are more difficult searches to do or more advanced searches to do, and we do those sorts of things, but we have plenty of training too, which we'll discuss also, okay? So simple system to use. Here's how the leads work. I'm going to show you some in California. I'll show you some out of state. Lead type, divorce, right? So divorce pops up in November of 2013. 7 months later, there's a mortgage default. So now they get 2 life events. 6 days after the mortgage default, it's listed for sale. That's how life events lead to the sale. If I was searching in La Mirada or knocking every single door in La Mirada, California, I don't know how many homes are there, 14,000, 20,000 homes in La Mirada, I don't know. How do I find this needle in the haystack? Rebo Gateway. Or some other way. Search public websites forever. You know, all that we're doing with Rebo Gateway, guys, is just automating that lookup process for them so they know exactly where to go, so they don't have to look up the data themselves, try to match it to property themselves, that sort of stuff, right? So that's all we're doing. So there's a simple one. Here's an estate sale. Same thing. Properties in trust. It doesn't have to go into probate. Obviously, I mean, it's not going to go into probate. You know, most of the time, it's just going to end up, you know, heirs are not going to move in. They're going to sell it, right? That's what they're going to do. So, you know, here's one, March 8th, estate sale. Everything's being sold. 30 days later, property sold, or well, listed and then sold 3 months later, right? Here's one in Arizona, and I'm sure, you know, again, you'd want to see one in your state, in Florida or Illinois or wherever you're tuning in from, but nonetheless, it works the same anywhere, right? The life events of a divorce, for example, or a mortgage default is the same in Chicago and Florida and Pennsylvania as it is in California, right? Or in this case, it is in Arizona. This is one that I put into the PowerPoint presentation for today, but look at it. There you go. They filed for divorce, January 6, 2015. They listed their property for sale 14 days later. Unfortunately for them also, right, you have another thing on 2/9. Now you have a mortgage default as well. So you get 2 life events that have popped up on this property. It's listed. We know why it's listed. There's life events, right? The life events are occurring on this property, right? And so they got to make decisions with the property and what to do, okay? So anyways, that's how the stuff works. We still do all the things you guys have known for us to do before. We do look up phone numbers on property, or the client themselves can look up phone numbers by clicking on those little blue pluses on the right-hand side. You can see circled in red. We check the numbers that we find against the do not call list. All we're doing is finding anything publicly available. So it searches whitepages.com and all of the other different forward-facing websites, name, address, match. If we find a phone number, we'll tell you how many websites we found it on. You can see that one there. We were founded on 2 websites. You can see that black number 2 in the middle. And then we're going to populate phone numbers into the system. Scripts from Tom Ferry's organization. We also now have scripts from Debbie DeGroat's organization. She's another sales trainer, nationally known, and she's got a 99-page script book. She charges quite a bit of money for it, I think close to $100. It comes with our subscriptions now. So it's super valuable to agents. It's been very popular with the new subscribers, okay? So tool number 1, database, right? Any agent who wants to expand their reach, increase their number of transactions, if they don't use Rebo Gateway, they don't use Rebo Gateway. No big deal. They should use data to find more probable sellers. They can get it from some of you guys via just regular title records, but if it's just farming records, that's not going to do it. We only know 2% of those sell, right? So they should use data because they're going to save money on their marketing. They're going to save time, effort, that sort of stuff, right? The other thing, anybody doing any sort of postcards, mailers, anything like that, right? They're going to save a ton of money by mailing to some of these addresses as opposed to the neighbors that just bought properties 3 months ago, half a year ago, whatever. They don't have reasons to sell, right? So let's find the ones that have the reasons to sell, market to them, we do better. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? What does that translate for you guys? Obviously, the more orders or the more transactions that the agent does, the more closed title orders for you guys, right? So they do need help. You guys have been to the offices like I have, and I really wanted to treat this call like, hey, we're buddies, we're sitting around, and let's have the conversation. I go in offices. I see a lot of sales managers that don't seem to motivate. I'll take it, make it personal. They don't motivate me. I don't hear the training going on that it seems like the agents need. And I say that because I get phone calls from our subscribers that do need help. And it's not just help with Rebo Gateway. A lot of times it's help on how to be an agent. Who do I market to? What do I say? How do I do this? How do I do that? Right? And I answer those the best I can, being a real estate broker prior to doing Rebo Gateway thing. Here, I did this. I knocked on doors. I mailed to houses. I mean, I did this stuff. it really does make sense for them to use data to be smarter about what they're doing. So they're not getting this information. And the other interesting thing, too, about it as I move along to the PowerPoint is that, you know, with a lot of them, like even like the coaches that are out there, the Tom Ferrys and Mike Ferrys and everything else, and they're great, and they motivate the heck out of agents, and I know it. But really, what they're really preaching a lot of times is turnover rate. Because 20 years ago when they were doing real estate, turnover rate was king. I mean, that's how you targeted. That's how they used predictive analytics, if we want to call it that, to go find new areas to market to. They didn't just put their finger on a map and go that direction. They figured out where homes were selling, figured homes would continue to sell, and they would market to those areas. That's still available. We have that in the track utility. It's part of Rebo Gateway. But on top of that, even a whole new thing, you want to call it predictive analytics on steroids, is figuring out, okay, where are the life events matched to property? Let's market there and let's move on, right? So what you're looking at the screen now, moving away from tool number one, which was the database, right? That's going to give them who to market to, who to mail to, who to start focusing on. But the other part of Rebo Gateway is figuring out what happens in the future to property address, what happens at the future to property address, right? What you're seeing here, and this is what I was talking about in the beginning of, you know, for me, make it personal again. If I was going to go try to open up doors as a title representative and I wanted to meet somebody, I could talk about my service, I could talk about whatever, all the things you're coached to talk about. But another really unique thing, again, because Rebo Gateway, there's nothing else like it, no other competing product that does what we do, matching these things to property, there is something very unique to talk to somebody about. Uniqueness is interesting, right? There's one LeBron James, there's one Tom Brady, right? They're unique for what they've accomplished, how they do what they do, you know, and so because of that, people they're interested in it. Well, this is a similar tool, right? And I'm not putting ourselves on that plateau. I'm just saying, hey, look, it's different, it's unique, let's talk about it. If you ask these series of questions, and this is regarding our email notification, to any realtor out there, I've done it 1,000 times, and the answers are always the same. Do you have a farm? Typical answer, yes, or no, it doesn't matter. It could be, okay, good, do you have past customers, right? Yes, I do. They all have those, right? So do you have a farm? Yes. Good. Question for you. In your farm, how do you know if somebody files for divorce? I don't. How do you know if they go on a mortgage default? I don't. How do you know if they go FSBO? I don't. Would you like to know? Every single time. That answer is yes, of course. You know, they want to know. Now the door's open. I've got something to talk to them about, right? We can talk about a product that is unique. Maybe they've heard of it. Maybe they haven't. Even if they've heard of it, oh, I've heard of Rebo Gateway. Good. Ask them the question then. Tell me about it. How do you think that would help you? You know, I don't really know. Can you tell me more about it? Because they don't know. If they know, they're using Rebo Gateway because it makes sense, or they're using data within their business, right? But this is, again, a series of questions that can help you open doors with new agents, new brokerages, new companies, whatever, right, to be able to get you in and be able to talk about the product. And again, I'm not looking for you to sell it. I want to be able to teach you as much as I can about our product. If you feel it can open up a door for you, then use it. If not, it's something for your bag of tricks when somebody needs leads, right? But I think it's relevant from people that I've spoke with, managers, title executives that have used it in that exact same way, walking in and talking to new agents that they've never spoke with before, but they want to get title from, and asking those questions. It gets them in the door, at least now, to have a conversation about everything else that you guys provide, and you guys do provide a lot. So it opens the door, and now you guys can do your thing, right? This is what an email notification looks like. To me, it's the most valuable tool in Rebo Gateway. This is a recent one, as you can see. It's from January 29th is where it is. You can see it there. It came to me. It's broken down. We group things together on the email notifications, groups of 1,000. And you can see there, you know, kind of what's coming about from it. So, you know, there's a notice of default, a mortgage default, a notice of sales, a mortgage default, a divorce filing. Whatever happens in their farm, they get one email a day to tell them about it. If you ask them again, like we talked about their farm, they want to know what's occurring in there. They don't know what's happening within their farms. They don't know what's happening with their past customers. It would make sense for them to know so they can contact them and say, hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. Let's go grab a beer, right? Let's sit down, let's have a conversation. And over that, what do they find out? You know, hey, what do you think my house is worth? I have no idea. Act surprised. Let me figure out. I'll put something together for you, put together a CMA or something and bring it by your house later or whatever, right? And they do it. But now, again, the door's open for the realtor to be able to go get business, okay? So email notifications are huge with what we're doing. If you haven't spoken with us lately, Inman News named us as a finalist of Innovator of the Year for this application for Rebo Gateway. Housing Wire 2 years running now. Top companies in real estate tech, so that's been kind of cool. Things we're going to do for you guys, we've been doing for you guys, we continue, but you may or may not know, and you can see that on the screen now. Resources that we have available for you guys, and I'm going to see if I can do something on the screen really fast because I can't see. Yeah, I wanted to make sure you guys are where I am, and you guys are, which is good. Okay, that's all. All I want to do is make sure that we're on the same boat. So we are. So you guys can see what we're doing. We do have an inside sales staff. Again, I'm not looking for you guys to sell our product. You guys have title insurance to sell. We have people to sell our product, plenty. Inside sales staff of 15. They do live demos everywhere in the United States. So if you're in Miami, Florida, or if you are in Lee County, Florida, and you contacted us, we'll have one of our salespeople set up an appointment with them, with your customer, on your behalf to be able to sit down and go, okay, good, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever they need or want to be able to understand the product and see what it looks like in their market area, we will do for them. Our service hours are open from 7:30 in the morning Pacific to 6:30 at night. So long hours, right, for them to be able to answer questions and help our subscribers, your customers, with anything they need on Rebo Gateway. We got live webinars for training only for our subscribers 3 times a week. Unlimited attendance. They can attend as often as they want. If those times don't work out for them, they can do one-on-one training. I don't know of any other software today that is one-on-one training with customers. We do. We've always done it, as you guys know. We still do it today. They can select on the calendar when they want their training, 30 minutes. It's self-directed. They tell us what they want to learn. We'll tell them, and they'll point the mouse and start doing it. If you haven't met Megan yet, she's absolutely fantastic. She's sitting on the phone call with us today, but she is our business development administrator for anything you need, want, flyers, whatever you want, right? Contact her, and I'll have her contact information here in just a second, you can see. But you could reach out to her or myself. My contact will be up there in just a second as well. After the webinar, I will email you guys everything there at the bottom, right? Links to flyers, links to the Quick Start Guide. The Quick Start Guide was really, and I'll show it to you too. I think I have it up on the screen. Super popular. We wrote it really, okay, I unwrap Rebo Gateway, what do I do? We'll set up your farms first off. Okay, well then the question was, what do I set up? Well, I would watch these properties versus others, and we'll talk about that in just a second as well. But in going through it, I mean, it really just kind of, we wrote it because the agents, a lot of times, again, they haven't used data in their businesses before, right? So you don't just go, I'm going to use data, and away you go. I mean, you got, how do I use it? So we'll tell them what to look for, what properties, what lead types, what sorts of things should they be watching for email notifications, what should they then find in our database to then go mail market to or door knock or telemarket to, however they're going to go about it. And then as new email notices come in, what should they do with those email notices? All of that is enclosed in the Quick Start Guide. So I'll send that out to you guys so you guys can have a look through it as well. It may help again with some understanding. We have ReboReports.com. We have all sorts of video, I mean, hours and hours of content and training that's in there, videos and training and tips and techniques and that sort of stuff that's in there. We have lead descriptions on each one of the lead types, Rebo Gateway overviews on video, and then also the farming thing. So anyways, I'll send that out to you guys so you guys have all of that available also, okay? Our pricing has been the same now for, well, since May 1st, 2014. You can see it up on the screen now. This is standard. If somebody goes online to purchase Rebo Gateway, that's what it looks like. And again, part of the conversation with you guys, if they don't subscribe to Rebo Gateway, they don't subscribe, whatever. But they should use data. No matter what, they should be using data for what they're doing. We just automate the process. That's our fee for automating the process for them. So they could just search by, again, territory, lead type, date range, and bring back results, right? So that's what we charge. It includes everything. There's unlimited searches for them in the county that they subscribe to. Pretty simple process. There are some add-ons at the bottom that they can pay additional money to get, $10 a month if they want to increase from 8,000 records that we're watching for them up to 16,000 records. They can do that, right? Cost them $10 more a month to do it. Or if they want to add on the track utility, which is our turnover tool, right, where they can instantly find turnover rate in whatever area they want to find it in. $10 a month for something like that, added onto their subscription. And then our mortgage data, a little bit more expensive, but you know, for your loan officers that are out there that want some information, that's available as well. Okay? So that's our pricing. As you guys also know, we do some special things from time to time. Referrals from you folks. We'll do things like, we'll give them a second county for free on an annual subscription. So if they subscribe for the year, they can't do this online. If they go online, they can't get it. But if you refer them to them, we'll do things like that for them. So, again, for $400 a year, they can get 2 counties rather than 1. Or if that's not important to them, we'll add on the track utility for them. Or we'll add on the additional 8 farms. So we'll give them something for free with that annual subscription, which is probably why about 65%, the last I checked, it was 65, a little bit higher than 65%, subscribe annually to Rebo Gateway. So anyways, there's our standard pricing, okay? A couple more things, and then we'll wrap. I want to show you some live stuff and then answer whatever questions you have. And if you haven't noticed or not, everybody's on mute. I can't hear you. So if you can type any questions you guys have into the chat, we'll answer questions here in about 3 or 4 minutes as we get through the rest of this. So please do that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those and stay on as long as possible to answer them. Also, my contact information will be on this. If you want to email me or call me or text me, you can do that as well. That'll be the next slide that we'll look at. But just to sum up what we're doing, to keep it extremely simple, because Rebo Gateway really is, you're just really working with data. It's extremely simple, right? Data works every single time. Not some of the time, every single time. It's just like gravity. If we take a pen and I held my hand out and I dropped the pen, it's not going to float. I know it's going straight to the ground, right? Data and gravity work identically, right? Advertisers, businesses, from Pandora to anything else we do on the internet, right? They're gathering information on us, and rather than in the past where they had to market to everybody, or if you really think about previous predictive analytics, right, or if you want to use it that way, you'd advertise on a country station because you had a certain demographic, right? You advertise on a rock and roll station because you had a certain demographic. And that's the way advertisers used to have to do it. Now, does it mean that only males 18 to 25 listen to that channel? No, but that's what most did, and so they would market to that. They've got a lot better, businesses, at doing this now, right? When you sign up for Pandora, they're taking your age, your zip code, and if you're male or female. And they know who buys BMWs, and they advertise directly to those people, right? So, I mean, there's just a lot of things like that that they're doing. So we do it in the real estate space. We're the only ones doing it, matching these life events to real estate, to properties here in the real estate space, right? Makes it unique and it's cool, right? Next thing, though, data only works if it's used, right? I say this everywhere I go because it's so true. It's gym membership. If I spend $500 on a gym membership, if I don't go to the gym, it does me no good. Spending the $500 doesn't do me any good. Well, similarly, spending $400 on Rebo Gateway does them absolutely no good unless they put data into use. If they mine for the data on their own and they don't use the data, it doesn't work either, right? So it's just like gym membership. If they use it, it's got great results every single time. They're astounding, but you got to go use the gym membership or you got to use data. The ones that use our data have made a ton of money using way more, hundreds of times more than our company has made with this data. Realtors have made with this data, right? They've made a ton of money with it, the ones that put it to use. The ones you've heard back, Rebo Gateway wasn't for me, they didn't use the data. Because if they used it, it works every single time like gravity, right? So I want to just make sure you guys understand that because it really is that simple. Here's your contact information that's up on the screen. I'm going to show you a couple of live things and tell you guys a couple of stories that I think, again, they apply to going into businesses, and I went into one last week, and I want to tell you about in a second. You can see up on the screen, though, the contacts. All of my contact information, feel free to take that down. It'll be part of the email sent to you here in a little bit, though, as well, all right? So you can see my information that's on there. Megan's is on there as well. Anything, she handles our calendar for all of our outside sales presenters and our inside sales presenters. So setting up webinars or meetings or whatever, all available via her, okay? So she can do all of that for you guys. You can see her contact information that's on there, and then our corporate customer service and sales members on there as well, which you can see at the bottom. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go into, let's get out of that for a second, let's go into this. So some stories, and I'm going to answer some questions. So this is a quick story, but this happened last week. I was called into an office by the California Association of Realtors asking to go in. It was in Rancho Cucamonga, California. Very cool office. It's in Victoria Gardens. I'd never been there before. It's just really cool mall, right? Outdoor mall, just beautiful. So I go there, great office, great people, telemarketers, high energy, do the presentation, bunch of people sign up. one of the guys comes up to me afterwards and says this to me. He says, hey, Brian, he goes, I'm a brand new agent. I need some help. And I said, okay, well, we have one-on-one serve training and whatever the deal is. If you need help, here's my card. Call me, whatever, right? Well, he subscribed, bought for the year, calls me up 2 days later and says, I need some help with my farms. I'm not getting it. I said, okay, no problem, right? So it was Friday, it was last Friday, so a week ago today. So I sat there and I went, okay, good. I'm going to share my screen, log into your account. I'll show you how to set up a couple of farms to be on your way. I spent 15 to 20 minutes with the guy, right? And it was awesome. As we sat there with it, this is the first thing we did. He wanted to market to properties in Highland. I did a search here in Highland. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen, there's 14,000 people, right? Single-family residences, condos, and multifamilies in Highland, right? So that's what we did. Okay, so we looked at that. He was like, I can't market to those people. I said, I understand. I don't want you to market to all those people. What we need to do now is set up your email notifications. So what I suggested him to do then was to go into our database here and go in and go, let's do this. We're going to watch people that bought at the peak of the real estate market. We're going to watch these people for anything that happens in the future at their property address. And the reason we want to do that is because people that bought at the peak of the market generally are still upside down. 20%, 22%, I think Wall Street Journal said still upside down, at least in California. So 22% still upside down. They can't refinance. They can't take cash out to send a kid to college. There's financial stress that comes about that leads to mortgage defaults, forced sale by owners, divorces. Our subscribers, myself included, will get more email notifications on life events on this group of people, peak purchases, than anything else. So if you're going to watch property, don't just watch random properties. Watch the people that bought at the peak of the market. Well, you can see at the bottom now we got 1,800 people. That was too many, right? So I said, okay. So do you like to sell condos? He says, no, not really. Okay, so we went in here and we got rid of condos and we got rid of units, right? And we started looking at what else we could do. Oh, let's do that, right? So we submitted that. And we started narrowing the list down to groups of 1,000 that he can now watch. We got down to it by doing this process, and he wanted Highland, and he wanted Fontana. Fontana had like 4,500 properties that bought at the peak of the real estate market. So by doing that, when we narrowed the list down to what exactly we were looking for, we had 3,000 properties. We looked at the 3,000 properties over the past 10 days. What happened in the past 10 days on these 3,000? Because, again, he's a new agent. He can't market to 3,000 people. He doesn't have the funds to be able to do it. That wasn't something he wanted to do, right? So we sat there and we go, okay, good. Of those 3,000, what happened? What brand new happened in the past 10 days on the 3,000? And there were 27 new things that happened on those properties, on those 3,000 properties that we were looking at for, right? From mortgage defaults to divorces, expired listings, canceled listings, things like that that were happening on those properties. He's doing backflips on the other side of the phone because he's like, oh my God, right now I know exactly where to go. And that's what data does, right? It puts the realtors, it takes the mystery out of where to go to, who to go to, right, and gives them focus on where to go to. And if they're focused, they can go create more business, they can create more title orders, right, and away we go. So it was an awesome thing. So anyway, I took that information, sent it to his manager, goes out to the manager, they sent it out to everybody in the staff, and then more phone calls of people that wanted to get signed up for Rebo Gateway because now they're getting it, right? They saw the presentation, they liked it, they smiled, they nodded. You know, some people signed up. The rest of them, after hearing this, his name was Naeem, after they heard his story, then they wanted to go, okay, good, now I'm ready, right, to get subscribed. So that's how the stuff works, right, and how data works in the system. And I can answer some more questions on that. So I'm going to go over here into the chat and see if I got any questions here to be able to answer for you guys. Are there any questions from anybody at all? We can do that. So one of the things I want to do, too, after this is over, and we're going to wrap it up here in a couple secs. If you have any questions, again, please contact me. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint here in a second. Before I do that, one more thing, too. Quick start guide. Again, I will get that out to you. And then lead types. Coming your way as well, right? Just talks about what are these things and how often they sell and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to get those things out to you also. But I'm going to go back to my contact information, put it up on the screen. If you have questions, again, please feel free to contact myself or Megan to answer any of the questions you guys have. We'd love to be able to answer those questions. I definitely want to thank all of you guys for everything you guys have done for us, right? All the introductions you guys have made. Again, our company wouldn't be what it is today without you guys, your guys' help. We want to help you guys, though, just as much as you guys help us. So if we can do a meeting for you in an office, if we could teach people about data and run a class on data, we can do it. It doesn't have to be about Rebo Gateway. Let's teach a class on data, because really that's where the rubber meets the road and what we want to teach people about. If this was valuable to you today, we're going to do some more of these. We have a lot of really cool things coming. I mentioned earlier we did redo our data file. We have a new agreement with a new company. There's a lot more attributes that will be getting added into Rebo Gateway. We've been asked about bankruptcies for a long time. Those are quickly coming. We have another lien file, which is every lien on a property, from tax liens, IRS liens, child support and spousal support liens on property coming. It even says we have affidavits of death, which we've never been able to access before, and if those come, that will be slightly different than what probate will be as well, which could be very cool also coming your way. So there's a lot of things coming, and then also the ability to search by equity position, which will be a cool thing. So some really cool things coming. The other thing that's available right now that we didn't have as part of the PowerPoint, I didn't get in, but I want to discuss with you guys. You guys know who's buying data, and I'm talking about now more of the lending institutions. So you have your different companies that are out there, large lenders that buy FHA data, loan data, right? Anybody in the past year and a half that has an FHA loan with X loan amount to Y loan amount, we have all of that data. We've never sold lists before, right? Meaning just, a straight list of data. Give me these attributes, 20,000 records, and boom. We didn't do that. We are doing that now. We just started. Our price points are less expensive. The big companies that are out there that people currently use, way less expensive than those. So if you have that sort of customer that buys a lot of data, please contact me for that type of thing. You have my contact information there on the screen, and we can get a price quote out to you guys, but we have not. Our pricing right now is significantly lower than those others. So reach out to me on something like that if you have that sort of lending customer that wants to buy, again, FHA, VA loans, interest rates from here to there, all of that stuff we have available. We can even match it to this sort of data too, divorcing couples that have interest rates, blah-de-blah as well, so which is something that nobody else can do, right? So that list fulfillment, if you're familiar with it at all, we do have that available as well, okay? Thanks, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. You will get an email from me. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you again for everything you've done for us. Thanks for the time today. I definitely do appreciate your guys' time and interest in what it is that we're doing. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye-bye.